Hello and welcome to Zetron's repair videos. Today we will demonstrate the iPhone 4 take apart and repair video. You can use this video to replace your digitizer, LCD, or even make your iPhone 4 white. Please visit www.zetron.com for more info. Please note, all repairs are done at your own risk. For all parts, please visit www.zetron.com. Today we're going to show you how to replace the iPhone 4, and to do so we're going to use the iPhone 4 digitizer and LCD in one piece. Now the reason it's one piece is because the new iPhones, the digitizer and the LCD come attached. It's similar to the iPhone 2G, the iPhone 2, and if you purchase the digitizer or LCD separately somewhere, you're not going to be able to complete this repair, and this is the part that you need. To start out, we're going to remove the two bottom screws. Another word of advice, since this is a pretty long repair, you're going to want to put all the screws and parts that you take out in order so you know how to assemble it back together. Once the screws are taken out, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to push the housing up just like that, and the back cover is going to slide off. Now as you can see, the battery is located over here, so if your battery ever runs low, or for example you want to replace it, it's very easy to do so. To have the back cover off, you're going to want to start out by removing the battery screw over here. Once that's removed, you're going to want to take a pry tool and carefully pry up the battery connector. Now be careful, the battery is glued and there's this little tab to pull it. It might be a little hard, but pull it and it should come right out. Once that's done, you're going to want to remove 5 screws over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is going to remove this black metal frame. For all of you that's watching this video for the first time, this is not a difficult repair. It is a bit tedious simply because of the fact that there are so many screws and there are very little, but other than that it's definitely doable. So once the 5 screws are removed, this little black thing should pop right up. If it doesn't, wiggle it a little back and forth or use a pry tool and it should come right off. Once you have removed the black tray, what you're going to want to do is remove these 2 screws which connect the bottom of the phone to the motherboard. Once that's done, a little black tab will be lifted off and you can use a pry tool to lift this off. Now it is glued over here, don't worry, just peel it off gently and it should come right off. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove 2 screws. Now there's 1 screw right over there, and there's 1 right over there. These 2 screws hold the charging port to the frame. Once those 2 screws are removed, there is still a speaker cable which is connected right over here, this little silver tab. Now you're going to want to use a screwdriver to take this off because a pry tool simply won't reach underneath. Now be careful, it is a very sensitive and small part. Now once that is off, you can go ahead and wiggle the bottom portion, which is the charging port, and it should come right out just like that. Okay. Once you're done with this, you're going to want to remove the camera as well as the vibrating module. Now the camera comes out very easily with a pry tool. There's a little connector over here and you just go ahead and pop it out and the camera comes out as easy as that. Once that's out, there's 2 more screws for the vibrator module. And just like that, it comes out. Now there's still a couple of more screws that you do have to remove in order to take off the motherboard, which is this part over here. One of the screws is your watermark screw, which is right here. It's under a white litmus paper. You can go ahead and screw it out. And another one is right over here. Now, once those 2 screws are removed, you can go ahead and unplug all the digitizer and LCDs and speaker connectors. They're over here. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one is right here. Using a pry tool, gently unplug the connectors. Tilt them a little back. Now these 2 are what you're going to be replacing in the new part, which is the digitizer and the LCD. An important thing to do is to take out your SIM. It doesn't really matter when you do, but before you take out your motherboard, it is important to take out your SIM. As you can see, I'm not using a SIM pry tool because it simply doesn't matter. I'm sure you guys don't keep SIM pry tools in your house just laying around, so you can go ahead and use one of these things. Now, once the SIM card is removed, you should be able to remove the motherboard. Please be careful, since this is a very delicate part. Here's the motherboard. Once that is removed, the most tedious part of this repair comes to play. Now, you have to remove a bunch of screws here. There's 3 screws with washers on this side, and 3 screws with washers on this side. Another 4 screws are on the corner of the phones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now it is important that when you put the phone back together, all these screws are put back in because they do hold the digitizer and the LCD to the frame of the phone. As I previously mentioned, since this is a very tedious part of the repair because the screws are small, we do have professional technicians that repair the phone for you if you're interested. All that information could be found on our website, www.zetron.com. Oops. And this repair is also good, video that is, if you're interested in making your iPhone white. At the moment, since the white iPhone is not yet out by Apple, we do have the parts, which are OEM parts, which will enable you to replace the back as well as the front of the phone to make it white. Now I'm just about finished taking out the 4 corner screws. Now, once you're done taking out all those little annoying screws, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the glass digitizer along with the LCD from the frame. Now, as you can see, we taped the front of the glass simply because it is shattered, so when you're taking it apart, it will actually minimize the amount of glass flying through the room. But what you're going to want to do is just take a pry tool and just stick it in between the glass and the frame. Don't worry about damaging anything because you're throwing out the glass part and the frame is stainless steel, so you should be okay with that. And if you go around the phone a couple of times, it should do the trick. Just pull it out, that should come right out. Be careful, the glass is sharp. There's still adhesive that is holding the old glass. And there you have it, your old piece and your new piece that you're going to put on.